Hey guys, let's talk about last night's episode of Homeland. And the plan in this week's episode was to flush out the Langley bomber. And in order to do so, Daradal needed to get in contact with Bennett and let him know that his law firm was being questioned and that his name was being brought up in some unsavory ways. And he was looking out for his friend and he wanted to let him know that something was on the horizon. So what did this do? Bennett ends up reaching out to Franklin, and Franklin is the one who contacted Carrie to set up the meeting with Bennett in the first place when they were trying to get her to turn on the CIA. So now we have a plan in place, and Franklin and Bennett are in contact, and they're pretty much saying that they need to get the bomber out of town. So, what does the CIA do? They decide to put a wiretap on the phone and they track them. And they track them to this hotel, and it's in some seedy area. And Franklin is tasked with getting this guy from this shady hotel and taking him out of town. Now, it turns out that Franklin isn't really interested in taking him anywhere. He's actually interested in killing him. And when Carrie finds this out, she freaks out because, of course, we all know that she wants to clear Brody's name. And in doing so, this guy, the bomber, needs to be alive so that they can actually say, yes, I was the one who put the bomb in the car, and that is how the CIA blew up. So, of course, all Carrie cares about is saving Brody. And, you know, they're in the middle of this high stakes mission, and Daradal is telling everybody to stand down. We cannot attack Franklin, let him go to the room, let him get the bomber. If he's going to kill him, then that's what needs to happen. And of course, Carrie's like, no, that can't happen because we need him to clear Brody's name. So everyone's like, we're standing down. And of course, Carrie gets out of the car. How many times have we seen this happen? I was like, Carrie, sit yo down because I am tired of seeing her run out of vans, chase down into bushes to stop a mission. Everything they've been working towards is so that we can find out who this bomber is and also not spoil the plan that they're on to with Javadi. So it's like, Carrie, stop. So then Daradal basically tells Quinn to take her out. And I was yelling, shoot her, because I just wanted her to stop, Carrie, and think about somebody else except for yourself. So Quinn shoots her in the arm and down she goes. And Franklin goes to the hotel room, just points the gun at the guy's face, blasts him, and does that whole put him in the bathtub thing where you put acid all over them and you get rid of the body and there's no evidence. I mean, it was creepy totally, but it's what needed to happen. The only problem I had as well with the scene was that when the reveal was made of who this guy was, he was nobody. Like, we haven't seen this guy before. I felt like it would have been a little bit more impactful if he had been somebody that we had seen in the past that maybe was part of some sketchy team before and they overlooked him. But no, it was just some random dude that we had never seen before. All right, so that is done. And then we had Mira. And Mira has been not so honest with her husband because she is back with him, even though we all know that she's cheated on him. And she cheated on him with this guy that she once worked with. His name was Alan Bernard. And in last week's episode, they fully hooked up. And in this episode, she's back with her husband, or at least that's what we're led to believe. But Saul, let's face it, has not been treating her very well. Saul has not been treating a lot of people very well in this season. And, he again says he's got to leave for a couple days. Oh, maybe a week. And she's like, Saul, like, hello, I'm trying to make this marriage work. How can I do that if you're not here? But what was very interesting was that she met up with this boyfriend and told him that she's going to go back to her husband, and he gets all upset and he's like, but I love you. And she's like, I got to go. Boom, she leaves. Next thing you know, there's this scene and someone is removing the mouse and replacing it with a new mouse and hooking it up onto a computer. All of a sudden, there's a wide shot and we see the guy's face and we see that he's in Saul's home. Mira comes home. She goes to the bathroom. He sneaks out the door. I mean, so this has all been a setup. He doesn't really love Mira. He's there to spy on the home because he puts this device on the computer and then you see him sitting in the car and you can hear the TV or the going and it's like, who is this guy now? Like, what team is he playing for? Crazy. So that was a very, very interesting reveal and I liked it. Then we had some more nonsense with the Senator Lockhart, who is, bitter cakes because he wasn't informed about the plan, and he runs to the chief of staff and tells him, that Javadi was on American soil and that Saul let him go. And it's just like, all right, we get it. You're going to be in office in 9 days. In 9 days, you can find out what everybody else gets to find out, and you get to do your job. But until then, sit your butt down. And like I said last week, they've made this guy into like a caricature. And so you can already tell that as soon as he goes into office, nobody's going to want to I don't want to listen to what he has to say, because he's clearly going to go on a whole other route than what we are used to. But you know what? At this point, he's got to be included in the storyline, because he has to be somebody that's relevant. So when he does take office, we'll already know who he is. But right now, he's just kind of considered a joke. And even the chief of staff dismisses him when he's like, sorry, I got to talk to Saul, and it's above your clearance. So, already we're looking at him like, sorry, dude. So that leads us to the last reveal of the episode. And we're all to assume that Saul is off to Iran to go see Javadi, but nope, he ends up in Caracas. And who's in Caracas? That's right, everybody, Brody. So he goes to the building where they've been keeping him, and he gives the guy with the tattoo of the spider on his neck like a bag, I guess, with like $10 million in it or something, in exchange for Brody. So Saul has known the whole time that Brody's been there? Like, is Saul the one who brought him there, but then they just said it was Carrie just to throw Brody off? Was Carrie aware that where Brody was? I mean, who knew? And here's the bigger question. How is Brody going to get back into America? Isn't he America's most wanted right now? How are they going to smuggle him back through? I mean, this show just, everyone can seem to get around across the border easy peasy, which is not good. So I'm very interested to see how they're going to do that again with this week, but obviously they're going to. But again, Saul has some serious trickeries up his sleeve all season long. He's had this big plan in place. Who knows for how long? That is what I want to know. So it ended on a good note. I was a little shocked, but Carrie getting shot in the arm, nobody still knows that she's pregnant. She waited 13 weeks or something to go see the doctor. I mean, come on, Carrie. You've been drinking, you've been, crazy Looney Tune and taking pills and everything. Who knows what's going to happen with that poor baby. Ugh. Anyway, so a pretty exciting episode. There were some down moments, but all in all, there was a lot of stuff going on, lots of information, some interesting reveals, and who knows what's going to happen next. Well, guys, that has been my review of Homeland. I'll see you next week. Bye.